As the gun went off, Connor Southard, a very trusty 1200 leg. He's a 407 miler. He wins all the time. He's a great runner. He has grit. We want the stick in his hands to start this race.
First real important decision was right off the start. I was on the outside alley with Western Colorado and Saginaw Valley. I made a quick decision right off the line. I thought about just slipping in right behind those two, but I was like, no, I don't want to end up getting caught. So I went right on around him, took the lead on my alley.
I got my eyes on Missouri Southern. They have a new guy running the 1200 in Gideon, and we know that his time determines a lot on where they're going to be at the end of the race. And I'm just looking for that green jersey. Where is he?
Probably the most important decision was not sitting behind Gideon on the break. There was a gap between second and fourth that I could just slip right into. It seemed like perfect place for me to just sit. So it stayed there through right after 3 laps to go. Coming off the turn, I was like, I feel great. These guys in front of me are hurting. So I just went around him and just started pressing on the gas.
With about 600 to go, so halfway through his leg, he was charging into the lead and taking control, and kind of similar to conference with Mason. I was like, oh boy, I hope this goes, I hope this hasn't been too early and there's just going to be a floodgate in the last 200 meters.
And then he takes the lead. And I remember thinking when he first takes the lead, that's way too early. And I'm nervous because he's excited, and so there's a little bit of nerves in me of just is he going out too early?
Okay, Connor. All right, a lot of leg left. 600 meters to go. It's 1200. Hope you remember. It's a 1200.
I was feeling good. 400 to go. Just kept squeezing on the gas.
And the gap gets bigger, and it keeps getting bigger.
And my nerves were going wild. Obviously, it's the first national meet for all of us. I see him make that move, and nerves gone. Here we go. This is it. Let's get it.
Came around with 200 to go. I just slammed on it and went for it.
And he just continued to pour it on, and the gap just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was just the most incredible 200 meters I've ever watched Connor Southard run. It was unreal.
And I'm still just looking back heads. Where is he? Where's Missouri Southern? How far ahead can Connor get? How much of a gap can he grow?
And he's coming down the home stretch, and I thought at that moment Pitt State was going to win the national championship in the DMR. There was not a doubt in my mind that we weren't going to win. I knew Graham was going to run great. I knew that Matt was going to run great, and I knew that we just get Mason the stick with a chance to win, and we'd win it.
That 1200 leg at nationals is probably the most perfectly executed race I've ever ran.
First leg, guys are locked in, they're juiced up, it's nationals, these are top competitors. You don't see big gaps in the first leg, but no, Connor really put the work on some of those teams. Maybe we went from maybe having a 20% chance to we might have a 60 or 75% chance. Holy cow.
And the announcer and the fans, they're surprised. He's saying Pitt State, this is interesting. We didn't see this coming. 200-meter track, great stride, strong arms, head tilt, baton in his hand. Graham's the man. And we know that when he gets the stick, it's going to be a good, solid time. We also knew who was behind him, and that was Trevor Bassett.
Trevor Bassett.
Trevor Bassett.
Trevor Bassett.
Trevor Bassett. He's, practically a world-class athlete. I think he had the best mark in the world indoors for a while on the 200.
One of the best track athletes I've ever seen in my life outside of the professional level and everything.
Trevor Bassett is the only 400 runner in Division II that can make a difference on the DMR and when seconds actually matter. Because in the DMR, most 400 legs are 48 point, a couple leak into 49, and the better ones go down into the 47s. But Trevor Bassett's a 45 split guy.
And so we all knew he was coming. We knew no matter what lead we had, it was going to get closed some by Trevor Bassett.
Trying to get organized on the infield, so when we take the track, it's not a big shock, because pretty much when they start for their last leg of the race, there's not a lot of time to shuffle around, so kind of to do that on the infield. I just remember stepping past Trevor Bassett and just sliding in front of him, oh crap. Oh no. And then I'm getting the baton in front of all these incredible 400-meter runners, I gotta hold off like 11 guys that probably have faster 400 PRs than me. Whoa, that's crazy. Here we go. Nothing I can do but run fast. Just gonna give it my all and hope it's enough. In my head, I was kind of just waiting for an Ashland jersey to come up and just absolutely drop me. I was waiting for Trevor to come out in the outs lane 2 and just cook me. Pretty much sometime during the first 200 meters, I thought that was going to happen. I was just telling myself to turn over, keep turning over my legs as fast as I possibly can, just keep striking the ground, keep going, keep going.
So I'm sitting with Coach Mantooth and I'm sitting with Coach Rutledge, and we're sitting there, and Mantooth goes, "Hold on, Graham," because here comes Trevor Bassett, and that dude is flying. He is flying. And Mantooth is just cracking up. "Hold him off, Graham, hold him off."
I still kept looking, where's the green jersey? Where's Missouri Southern? How big of a lead have we got on them?
300 in, I'm like, I haven't seen anyone. I haven't heard anyone's footsteps. With 100 meters to go, I thought there was no one near me, no one in my zip code, because I couldn't hear anyone's footsteps behind me. I was like, geez, I'm running pretty well. I'm running pretty well right now. And I was, but I was not running as well as Trevor Bassett. Get to that, turn onto that last curve, and I see a shadow off my right shoulder. Like, that must be him. There he is. Hang on for dear life. He might have like technically got me in the laser time, but I'm pretty sure I got the stick to Matt before he did, and mission accomplished. Did not give up the lead.
So, he did his job, certainly, but yeah, that was an experience for Graham as well. We still joke about it, about poor guy had to race against Trevor Bassett and looked like a scrub getting hawked, but no, he did fantastic.
He did what he usually does. Didn't want to expect anything less from him, so.
Seeing him come really close down on Graham and basically hand off at the same time kind of made me a little nervous, but luckily I had a good position when I got that handoff and I was able to get the rail before the Ashland guy.
And then when he hands off, Matt does a great job of immediately initiating the inside lane and getting on the rail. Running into the front is kind of a struggle for Matt. Like, he doesn't know what pace he's running. He doesn't really know, but he does a great job of just staying calm, staying relaxed, being in front. It's so hard to be in the lead.
When I stepped off the track from that 400 leg, I was so locked in on how Matt's leg was going to play out and how Mason's leg was going to play out that, like, I didn't feel tired at all after that leg. I was just focused on the race. I finished. I go, just a couple breaths on my hands and knees. All right, what's happening?
So Birmingham track, it's a very nice complex, but it's very different. Like, we had raced on a bank track previously this year up at Washburn, and you can hear everything. You can hear a person 10 meters behind you running. But at Birmingham, you can't hear a thing. So when I'm out in the front, I don't know where people are. Every curve, I would try to kind of put my head down, like grinding base a little bit, but also trying to see shadows. Like, if I can see anyone's shadow, just kind of know where I'm at. But I ended up, I didn't see anybody, I couldn't hear anybody, and I don't have people on the sideline telling me where they are.
Matt just does his thing. He just runs super patient. He runs super calm, super relaxed. Not running slow, but everybody else is now chasing Matt. Everybody's chasing him down, so everybody's working super hard. And so, like, Northwest Missouri is back in it. Missouri State, Grand Valley is now in the mix with their great 800 leg. Everybody's starting to get back in the mix of it, not because Matt's running slow, but just because them guys are chasing.
I keep looking for the green jersey. Where's Missouri Southern at?
I hit that 200 mark. That's about where I try to really start closing in on a finish, and I hit that 200 mark, and I normally on a finish I have to like chase someone down to really go hard, and I just was telling myself, like, there's someone in front of you, trying to get that mindset through and really close down on the finish. So I had to basically play games with myself to finish the way I would if I was in second.
Matt gets to that last 200-meter leg, and he comes off that curve, and on that backstretch, kind of the same as Connor did, and he just starts opening up. Matt's a big dude, and he just starts letting his levers swing and just starts opening up his stride, and he just starts gapping second place. Again, this is another moment where I'm like, we are going to win this thing.
After conference, I was like a little wary on it. There's not only 3 teams that are in this. These are the best teams in the nation that are here, and Matt had to step it up, and boy did he. He ran probably one of the most perfectly executed races from the front I've ever seen that dude run, and he hates running in the front. Proud of that big man.
Matt ran a nice leg, he really did.
he did great, especially compared to at conference. He did exactly what we needed him to do, kept us in the race. We were still battling for first, second position when we handed it off to Mason.
For a group that had never been to a nationals, we looked like one of the most experienced teams in the nation. And like Matt, he just knew his body, knew what he was doing, gets on the backstretch and presses, comes off the curve and hands off clean, and we're into the final leg.
Tall Matt leads every lap of his 800 and kicks at the end, gets away from Ashland, and Grand Valley State runs a very strong 800 leg and hands off right behind him as I take the baton going into the 1600 leg.
When I see Mason Schrader get the baton, I'm thinking, go run 402, 403, and don't let anybody touch you. Press, press, press. You got your foot on their throat. We have this gap that's been created, and I'm thinking, if Mason runs 402, 403, which I think he's fully capable of, no one in the field is going to run 358 or 359 to beat us. That's my first thought. That's our best chance to win, is just go. Because I think Grand Valley's right behind him with Caleb Futter, who Mason had just beat in a prelim. He had run like 412, so I'm thinking, we're going to kill Caleb Futter. Caleb Futter's not even a thought.
And we got out quick. It didn't feel like I was running 28, 29, but my first 200 was way under sub 60 pace. We got out quick, but it felt comfortable. It felt okay. I felt like I knew what was going on. It was just a quick refresher that you're still racing. Like, even though you're in front and you have an amazing national field behind you, it's still about running fast. You don't have to rewrite the book and do this incredible feat just because you're in the front and you weren't supposed to be. And then the pace starts to slow down. Nobody's challenging me for the lead.
So Mason had the lead with Grand Valley right behind him for, I think, 2 laps. It's just the two of them. Then after that third lap, Ryan Riddle makes up the gap on him pretty quick.
I'm just pouring everything into him. I'm trying to cheer as hard as I freaking can for Mason, and the emotions was, for me, it was all hype. At that point, I knew whatever happened out of it, it was going to be a magical race because we had been leading the nationals for 3 legs.
As it was explained to us previously, an accordion effect.
The guys in front aren't necessarily going to drill it from the beginning because they got time in hand, and the guys in back are drilling it because they need to catch up desperately. That's their only hope. So yeah, typically how it goes is the guys in front are kind of chilling, the guys in back are trying as hard as they can to catch up, and it kind of comes together.
I slowed it all the way down to a couple 33s, and we hit a 66 in the middle of this in the 1600 leg, and I let everybody back into the field.
Connor handing off in first, I'm like, we're going to win this. Matt handing off first, we're going to win this. Mason gets the stick. There is not a doubt in my mind that we are going to take this home. But after about 600 meters, the doubts start to cloud my mind that we are not going to take this home. There's a lot of guys that are in there fresh. Carson Dix is a phenomenal runner for Adams State. Ryan Riddle trying to run 359, 358 to catch us. I thought he was probably one of the only people in the field that had that ability. Knowing that James Young was out of it, there's a lot of good runners in this, and he just allowed everybody to get back in the race and give everybody hope and everybody a chance. I'm starting to count the people running, and I'm thinking, we're going to win this. Kind of goes out the window, and now I'm like, are these guys even going to be All-Americans?
All right, we just got an All-American. We got an All-American. I'm counting the guys, and I see Mason in a pack of 9 people. Oh boy, there's 9 top 8 All-American.
Kind of made me nervous as well. It's like, oh God, there's a lot of teams getting back into this. I hope Mason can kick off of this. Because I mean, it's hard to change pace. Like, you know, even if you're out there running 65-second 400s, it's not like that's I mean, I said jogging, but I mean, it's hard to turn the speed dial and just kick it into another gear, especially at the end of a race.
He was just sitting in front of all those guys, and I remember thinking I couldn't hear anyone behind me. I wonder if he knows that there's 9 people behind him.
And at the time, I didn't know it, but there was 8, 9 guys behind me in a pack, 2 lanes wide, just circling, waiting for a position, not taking the lead.
You're sitting here with guys that are running 401, 402, 403, 404 for a mile race, and they're just refusing to take the lead from Mason, but they're just milling around for position for so long.
You just see everyone constantly switching positions, moving up, surging up to Mason, but then not taking the lead from him, just sneaking right behind. See Ryan do that like twice.
I was waiting for the move to be made. If it wasn't made with 400 meters left, I was going to make the move. I knew who was coming. I had practiced it. I'd practiced in practice. I'd practice before I go to bed at night. I mentally practice racing for this victory and who was going to try to take the lead, and I knew who it was going to be. Every 10-ish strides, I'd peek over my right shoulder just to see, when is he coming? When is this going down? When are we going to start sprinting?
And I know what Mason's thinking. I know he's looking for Ryan Riddle. Phenomenal runner. We know that he's run 401, 402. He's kind of the favorite coming into this. And we watched him at conference win the 3K, win the mile, run an incredible 5K.
And it didn't matter when it was going to be. I had it determined in my head that when the move was made, I was going, regardless of how far we were from the finish line, how close we were. When the move was made, I was going from 0 to 100%. I was going to race this to the finish line. And sure enough, with 2 laps left, just over 2 laps, Ryan Riddle from Missouri Southern, a 4 flat miler, came through over my right shoulder and actually took the lead. I tried to respond, and he ended up finding the rail, and I was gapped by about 5 meters before I could get going or even hold him off. He made an amazing move. He was ready for it. He prepared for it. It was a good move, and it worked. It got me. It took the lead. We had 400 meters left, and I was 5 meters behind after being in front for 1,200 meters. So the move worked. It was perfect, but I wasn't surprised.
We've seen this move so many times by him, and now it's just like, okay, now what are we fighting for? Are we still trying to chase Riddle, or are we trying to hold off and get second? Because now I'm starting to see Reese Smith is coming up.
I was ready, and another lap goes around. No change, no distance change. I'm 5 meters behind Ryan Riddle in Missouri Southern with a national championship 5 meters in front of me. I've never been to a national meet before. I've not even watched one. And I got a race in one on this day for the first time, and I had a shot at winning a national championship. For my team, for Pitt State, for my 3 teammates who just ran amazing legs and passed the baton off in first. And I had 200 meters to try to catch, at the time, the MIAA's best middle distance runner at the national meet on the biggest stage.
It's kind of just an MIAA showdown. We got 1, 2, 3 are all MIAA, and it's just like, we've been here before. And so bell gets rung for 200 meters. And again, Riddle still looks like he's just opening up a gap. He looks really relaxed, really calm. And on the backstretch, the gap's probably maintained, but it feels like it's opening up, and the gap from Mason to Reese Smith feels like it's closing. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, here comes Reese Smith. I do not want to lose to Northwest. I mean, I don't want to lose to Moso, I promise that. But it kind of just seems like it's out of our hands, like Riddle's just doing what Riddle does.
Another 100 meters goes. We're on the backstretch. No change. 5 meters, he's in front of me. A step hasn't been made. No ground has been made at all.
Mason kind of does that, ducks his head and takes a breath and keeps fighting. And God, it was a dog fight.
And I'm going crazy. I'm losing my mind with Connor Southern on the infield, just jumping everywhere, screaming our heads off.
He starts moving. He's gaining so much ground.
It's like the wheels just completely fall off. And in a matter of a second and a half, Mason went from 8 meters behind him to on his outside hip. It was the weirdest thing in the world. I remember watching it, I was just like, that's a big gap. And then like in a snap, it was like, Mason's on him.
We started to turn the corner on a 200-meter track, so there's roughly 100 meters, 80 meters left. And I see the number on the back of his jersey fly to me, almost stopped. And I feel like I took 5 steps and I was side by side with him. I've not beat Ryan Riddle at this point in my career. I have not won against him head to head. I haven't really even challenged him yet. He has been the heavy favorite in our conference. Bunch of accolades, bunch of medals. He's the guy, he's the runner, he's good, very good. I had 50 meters left to win a national championship. I squeezed the baton, I squeezed mentally, physically. I tried picking my knees up, and each step, I was 1 second closer, 1 step closer to getting to that finish line first. And there's 15 meters left, and all of a sudden I got 1 more step to win this thing. I relaxed, I let go, I let out. Years of morning doubles, years of chasing Connor in practice, years of race plans, talking to my coaches about how I can be a better runner, talking with my roommates on how can I be the best, how can I win, all came together with 4 steps left in the biggest race of my career, and the picture shows it, and I just let loose. My arms come out, I I'm enlightened. It's calm for the first time in the last 4 minutes.
We won it. And I was in a perfect position to see that we had won it. But then I see this dude in white who finished right next to Mason, and I'm like, who is that? And it's Caleb Butter, who I didn't even know was in the race in the last 200 meters. I thought Caleb Butter was done. Like, I thought Reese Smith had beat Caleb Butter. And I'm just like, what happened?
And boom, the baton goes flying out of my right hand out towards lane 6, right at the finish line. I know I beat Missouri Southern. I don't know who hit the baton. I don't know who ran into me. I don't know if I crossed the line with the baton in my hand. I don't know if I'm going to get disqualified for dropping the baton, if it looks like I threw it down. I run out to lane 6 before it rolls off the bank track and pick it up. And everybody's yelling and screaming, and I don't know who won the race.
I had no idea Caleb Butter was in the race. And now it looks like Caleb Butter might have beat us.
And I look up at my roommate, and Bryce Gron's standing there screaming down at me. He's up in the bleachers, and I'm asking him, did I win? Did I win? Did we win? Did Pitt State win? And then the board changes, and there's a split face on top. The top number is a split face. A Pittsburg State split face.
I gotta see this time.
And war cry. Like, we yell, we scream, it happened. We won. We walk to the other side of the track. We hug Coach Jewett. We hug Coach Barrows. The place is yelling. We see the time now. We know what's going on. It's a dream come true. We are so excited. It's the most joy I've ever felt in my life.
First name pops up, Pittsburg State. Yeah, incredible feeling. Something else.
I'm sitting there scared. I pause and just staring at the board for the next like 10, 15 seconds till it comes up that we edged out Grand Valley by 0.01 seconds. So it was an insanely good feeling to see that happen, but it was scary.
Probably one of the best moments of my life. Probably actually it is the best moment of my running career so far.
Just an unreal of emotions just flood. I mean, I see Coach Jewett and I see Coach Ben just over there hugging and hugging the guys, and I am screaming, and I'm with Colin Weber, and I'm like, how do we get over there? I want to get over there and experience this. And so we are literally running through like the concession stands, and people are standing there trying to take pictures. Sorry, excuse me, because we're trying to run. And all the COVID protocols, and people are telling us we can't get in. We're just kind of like, we won freaking nationals. Get out of my face. We don't care right now. We're trying to hug our teammates, and they're checking. Do you have your pass? Ma'am, I got tested 2 hours ago. I'm fine. Just let me in.
I didn't believe it. It was like I was dreaming for the next 10 minutes. And then we're jumping around, gave Jewett a huge hug, like insanely happy, almost on the verge of tears, like of joy. And we walk over to the award stand, and we're thinking, okay, like get our trophy, get our picture, and get out of there, rest for the night, get ready for Mason's mile the next day and possible 4x4 for myself.
We get there, lady who's like in charge of the area was just like, hey, due to it being a super close finish, they're just gonna make sure, review the time, make sure everything's right and everything. Should take like 15 minutes. We're like, all right, that's no big deal.
I'm a little nervous now because it was that close, but okay, like that makes sense. I can't stop pacing because I'm scared that we got second, which would still be cool, but you know, the worst we can do is second, right? So it's a good feeling.
I'm looking at the time, and I see that we beat Grand Valley by, I think, 100th. I think 100. So I'm like, yeah, I would want that reviewed if I was Grand Valley. Like, check it out. And so I'm not frustrated at all.
But yeah, unofficially we were the winners, and that was exciting, but you can't get too excited. It was kind of anticlimactic. It's like, did we just win? Oh, now we got to wait and see.
Then 5 minutes passed, then 10.
As I'm just standing there, just kind of pacing, walking around, waiting, high out of my mind on happiness and everything. Here comes Southern's coaches walk into the protest table, and I'm like, what are they doing?
And this is where emotions really start to kind of, for me, get very murky and very frustrating, because we learned that Missouri Southern threw in a protest that Mason had tripped Ryan Riddle. I am not super pleased to hear about this, because I think that we won it outright. And like the Grand Valley review or protest, I felt like was fair. I felt like it was like, yeah, like you lost by 100th of a second, I'd want to review. Did we have the baton? Like, absolutely. But then to learn that a team that you already have a huge rivalry with, that you just beat 2 weeks ago in a conference championship in a duel, and it was so frustrating. Really, the big thing that was frustrating is that like it took it from us.
It looked clean to me in real time. I was right there on the side of the track. I didn't think anything happened.
So yeah, there were 3 uncertainties. Number 1 was the photo finish. Number 2 was the dropped baton, and number 3 was people losing their footing and maybe, getting tripped.
And we're just waiting and waiting.
30 minutes pass, I open up my phone, and I have like 20 text messages from aunts, uncles, cousins, best friends from high school, friends from on my team back home, all my teammates just texting me going like, woohoo, national champions, and I just put the phone down. I saw all that, and it just freaked me out, just thinking about how depressing it would be to text all these people and be like, actually, we didn't win, got DQ'd, came away with nothing. We were champions and there was nothing.
I went from like the happiest I'd ever been to the most stressed out and pissed I'd been in a long time.
It's all out of my control now. For like 20, 30 minutes, I was off to the side of that track just praying. I was praying to God, just let whatever happens just be the right thing for me right now. That helped calm my nerves and just find peace with the situation.
The games committee or whoever handles that was deliberating for a long time, and we were in purgatory waiting.
And I'm sitting here and I don't know what to say. I don't know how to react. I don't know what to do, because there's nothing you can do but sit and wait for an hour and a half. And it feels like an eternity that I'm sitting there and I'm watching Mason with his head down. Like, none of these guys should be disappointed in anything that happened, but they're sick to their stomachs of what could be done here. And I remember people calling and texting and talking to the guys back home and being like, everything's under review, and just so many emotions, and just sitting there just feeling helpless.
It was a punch. It was a punch to the gut. Everything we'd worked for, all the effort and sweat in practice and showing up every day, going to class, staying eligible, like stretching after a race, taking care of your body, eating the right food, punishing yourself on 400 repeats. It was tough to swallow. Coaches were keeping us calm. It's intense. Athletics get intense. There's rivalries. There's hard feelings. There's competitiveness. It came out. For 90 minutes, it came out.
It was the biggest shift in emotions I think I've ever experienced in my entire life. This goal, like this crowning achievement of national champion that hardly anyone can claim in their running careers. Like, I had been literally working for that moment since I was 10 years old.
Jewett's huddled us up so many times, telling us like, moments like these reveal character, what you do, how you act, the way you carry yourself. And in my head, I'm thinking, screw character. Like, I don't care about my character at this point. Like, and Jewett did a great job of being a leader and being like, that's why he's the head coach, because he held us together and he told us to stay calm. And I know that we were all feeling so much anger and just pissed off, and it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Coach Jewett walks over to us and he doesn't look very happy. So I'm scared. I see his face and my stomach sinks. And he's just shook hands with the NCAA officials and with Missouri Southern and walks over to us. And then he gets about halfway to us and he just gives a big old fist pump. It was like Christmas morning again. It was a great feeling.
Like mid-sentence with my mom, I see Jewett like jump up and everyone starts going crazy. And I like hang up the phone immediately, throw it in my bag. I was mid-sentence with my mom on the phone and I just start going nuts. I just go, oh, hang up, throw my phone on the ground and let's go, come on, it's real.
They couldn't stop us, and that was it. Like, the momentum that we had from the Gorilla Classic, the momentum that we had from indoor championships, and then carrying it over, they just couldn't stop the momentum. And it was perfect.
And Graham, Matt, and Connor and I will forever be national champions. It took our amazing coaches who dedicate their lives to the sport and dedicate their focus and effort to the athletes at Pitt State. It took the community of Pittsburgh. It took the donors. It took everything that is involved in the university to support this track team, building our facilities. We had teammates. We had roommates, brothers, everybody who was cheering for us or some way along our running career provided any sort of help won the national championship that night. There's always going to be somebody faster, but not everybody can win every single time. It was ours. We won it, and we have it forever, and it feels damn good.
Standing up on that podium with 3 of my best friends on this team, oh man, I don't want to freaking cry right now just thinking about it. But first meeting I'd ever had with Coach Jewett, he'd ask me, well, what are your goals for your career? I was like, I want to be I want to be a national champion by the time I leave. And I don't want to be just one. I want more. I want a lot. I want All-Americans. I had very high expectations as a freshman, of course. Him being sensible kind of had to reel me in a little bit, but I never let that goal go. I mean, I would not want to do it with any other 3 guys. And they all thought I was crazy. I've been saying we were going to win that thing all week. From the moment we were on that bus driving down to Birmingham, I was like, we're going to win it. Everyone thought I was crazy. I didn't think there was anyone that could beat us. I thought we had the best 1200 leg in the nation, the most consistent 400 guy in that field, 800 guy that could definitely get the job done if he put his mind to it, and one of the ballsiest racers I've ever met in my life. That combination of 4 guys would win the damn things.
Holding that trophy up was a dream. I mean, like I said earlier, as a kid, you just dream about being the best you can be. Like, you know, there are very good athletes racing against you, and just even being an All-American was kind of a dream for myself, and ended up being a national champion I'm like I didn't even know if I dreamed about that because I didn't think it was possible. That feeling of joy, I couldn't stop smiling. I remember my family texted me and said, I think that was one of the most genuine smiles you had, and I was like, duh. I mean, just to be able to hold that up, that's literally a dream come true. Something I dreamed about but didn't even really think was possible still. We're just a bunch of guys that every day, day in and day out, we push each other to be better. And so me and Graham are running partners, and literally every day I can't go in and just ease through a workout. I have to work to keep with him. Connor and Mason, they're the same way. They push each other through and through every day. 4 even small town Kansas boys.
What those guys did in that DMR changed the lives of 22 people on the Pitt State men's team. And not just cross country, not just the disc guys, but I think as a track team as a whole, of when Pitt State shows up to the national championships, it's no longer oh, let's hope we get 7th or 8th. We're here to win things now. We're there for a reason, and we've earned our spot. And if you have Pitt on your chest at the national meet, you can win.
I didn't fully understand what it meant to be gorilla tough or be a gorilla, compete like a gorilla, until a conference championship my freshman year indoors. I just remember seeing Bryce hawk down a couple Kenyans from Northwest Missouri in the last 100 of a 3K. I saw right there, I was like, that's hard. That's the heart of a champion. Every championship meet, I see somebody just battle through so much pain and just be so freaking tough just to score that 1 point, to win that meet. No one battles to the end quite like a gorilla. To the very end, to the bitter end, through the finish line.
Looking into the next year for the NCAA championships, we bring our whole DMR team back. We're loaded. We're the defending champs. We're ready to go. And we're lucky enough to race in this building we're in right now. We're about 40 meters from the track, and we get to try to defend the title at home. And we know it's going to take a lot to get there. We're going to practice like we didn't win it. And we're not going to try to be anybody else. We're going to try to be us. We're going to try to be Pitt State.
To defend our DMR title on our home turf is big. That's a big thing. Like, that does not happen to very many schools, that they get to defend their national title on their home field.
Going forward, we got to find a way to do it again, but I mean, it's a good challenge. It's a great spot to be in. You wouldn't have it any other way, would you? So, and yeah, in theory, all our guys will just be getting better and hopefully improving, so that'll only help our chances. But certainly, there's a lot of talented athletes and great programs that'll be giving us a run for our money. So yeah, that's exciting stuff ahead, I guess. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having nationals here. It's gonna be a lot different. It's a new dynamic, and I'm excited to come back, hopefully be a year better. Not just there again. I know we need to be better to hold it. We have that target on our back. People are coming for us, so we got to step up our game every day again, just push each other to be better.
I think the four of us, we like having the targets on our back because I think it gives us something else to motivate us. We've been the ones chasing for a while. Well, now y'all got to come catch us.
The future of Pitt State for the distance squad, for the DMR as a whole, is very, very bright. I don't think there's anybody on that DMR team that doesn't expect to go back and defend their championship next year. Not a doubt in my mind. The coolest thing that I think that we can take away from it is that things like this don't just happen. And so I think that there's been an emphasis on every workout, and there's been an emphasis on every long run. There's been an emphasis on every easy run, an emphasis on all the little things that create that success, because you don't just wake up one day and become national champions. This is who we are, and we're going to keep playing. We're going to show up. We're going to work hard. And we're going to be blue collar. And we're going to grind. And we're going to sweat. And we're going to bump elbows with the best people in the nation. And we're ready to keep going. We're ready to continue to carry the tradition right now in the present and for the future and for all the people that did it behind us. And we're ready to continue to be gorillas.
First off, this video series is a gift to the men that gifted Pitt State its first ever Division II national relay title. These guys are incredibly driven, amazing leaders, and just all around fantastic human beings. So thank you for being responsible for helping me realize one of my coaching dreams so early in my career of handing out trophies to a group of national champions who also happen to be some of my best friends. This video series is a gift to Coach Jewett, who has led Pittsburg State cross country track and field for so many years with nothing but the highest of integrity and the unrelenting drive to bring out everyone's best. Thank you for the opportunity and for taking a chance on me as someone who can come in and be a benefit to your program. This video series is a gift to the entire Pittsburg State cross country track and field program. I hope it will inspire current and future generations of gorillas forever. Thank you to any Pitt State alumni who helped build the foundation that allowed these young men the best opportunity possible to succeed. Thank you to Pittsburg State University for being a third place in my life that I can be proud of to call home. I'd be afraid to know how many hours I put into this documentary, but whatever that number is, it pales in comparison to the number of hours that Coach Jewett has poured into this program, or the number of hours that these men spent on a daily basis training their bodies and their minds. There were so many reasons of why this past year was so incredibly special, and I wanted to do my absolute best to document part of it with 100% authenticity. I realized that making this video series puts an even larger target on our backs, which I usually try to avoid at all costs, but I feel like this is worth it because these men deserve to be known by the world for the amazing people they are and the amazing story they just created. So thank you to everyone for watching. I hope these men have won you over and made you a fan of Pittsburg State cross country track and field and our tradition.